Everybody wants to be whimsical right now. I am seeing how to make your life more whimsical on every single platform, and honestly, I totally understand because I too want to have a whimsical life. That's why I love plants so much, because what is more whimsical than being around nature? Whimsy is an antidote to mundanity, and that's why I think people are yearning for it so much right now. And a way that we can add and cultivate this feeling and this kind of vibe into our homes is by bringing houseplants in. Now, of course, all plants are whimsical, but I do think that some have almost that like fairy-like quality about them more than others. So I have picked out 10 of my houseplants that I feel most suit this vibe. Last year, I did a kind of sister video to this one where I focused on blooming plants in my collection, so I will link that one down below if you haven't seen it yet. But today I am going to be a little bit more focused on foliage, so I'm going to be featuring different plants. Now, you can't be whimsical if you're tired and grumpy, so being well rested is always at the top of my priority list, which is why I love my Helix mattress so much. Thank you so much to Helix for sponsoring this video. We're coming up to 3 years that we have had our Helix Midnight Luxe mattress, which is so crazy, and it is still just as comfortable as the day that it arrived on our doorstep. We spend so much of our lives sleeping, and the quality of that rest is really going to determine what our days look like and how good we feel, which is why I will always prioritize having a high quality mattress and having one that really fits my needs. Helix is perfect because they offer over 20 unique mattresses, and they have a sleep quiz where you can input your information and then it will let you know what mattress will fit you best. You already know how much I love my Helix mattress, but I recently got to try out something new from Helix. Their Comfort Adjust cooling pillow, aka my new favorite thing. This is so incredibly comfortable, and it is completely adjustable to fit your needs and your preferences. So you can actually unzip the side here and you can remove stuffing if you want to change the firmness. And then we have another zip on the other side where you can adjust the height of the pillow. I just think it's so cool how customizable this is because we all have different bodies and we all find different things comfortable. So I have been using it with all the stuffing and zipped up like this. It is nice and firm, but still just like so squishy. This has premium memory foam inside it, and it also is made with their Glaciotex fabric, so it keeps you nice and cool. This is truly the perfect addition to my sleeping setup. I will always choose Helix products when it comes to my sleep, and I'm not the only person that thinks that because they are the most awarded mattress brand. USA Today recently ranked Helix as one of the most trusted brands in 2026, and I could not agree with that more. If you would like to experience Helix for yourself, you can go to helixsleep.com/wildfern and take advantage of their Memorial Day exclusive partner offer where you can get 27% off site-wide. I'll also pop a code up here for you to scan, or you can click the link down below in the description box. Thank you so much to Helix for the continued support on my channel. So traits that make plants fall into this category for me are having a kind of dainty vibe. Maybe they have small leaves, maybe they are kind of like fluttery looking, maybe they are fuzzy, or perhaps they are a stunning pink color like this one here. This definitely gives me kind of fairy vibes. This is Begonia breviorimosa, and this one is actually relatively new to my collection, and I will be honest with you, it is not the easiest plant to grow in my limited experience, but I think it's doing okay, and I'm starting to see some larger leaves like this one here. But how gorgeous is this? Like, I just cannot get over this striking color. I feel like some pink plants are only partially pink, or the pink doesn't last, or they're just not very pink, but this one is like pink, 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 like so vibrant and bright. And I just think that begonias kind of have a whimsical vibe to them in general. They also do flower, so bonus points for that. I just added a second stake to this and I accidentally knocked the platform that was keeping the soil up out of place, so I'm gonna have to fix that. This is in a self-watering pot in soil, and this is, I think, my only plant that I have in self-watering in soil, and that is only because I know begonias are so thirsty, so I'm comfortable with trying out this setup with it. I do think that this one likes a little bit higher humidity, so I do have it living in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet, where, I mean, it's 70% right now, and that's usually where it kind of hangs around. I'm happy to accommodate it in there though, because I just think that this is so different and so gorgeous. So that is the first plant. Okay, the second plant is a little bit hard to see, so I'm probably gonna have to insert some B-roll. And no, it is not this giant puffy philodendron here. It is this adorable vanilla orchid that is climbing the wall behind it. I find vanilla orchids to be so delicate looking, and I think that the variegated version just adds an extra element to that as well. I do think the non-variegated ones are cute, but I really prefer the variegation. I just think that it's so pretty, and this doesn't require any special care. It is a terrestrial orchid, so you can pot it and care for it just as you would regular tropical houseplants. So it was a really great plant in the orchid family for me to start with. And something that's really cool about the vanilla orchid is that they actually do produce vanilla beans. Like, it's not gonna produce that in my house, I don't think, but that is where vanilla beans come from an orchid, which is just so cool. I love how this one looks climbing here and taking up this space. This is such a great filler plant if you have a space like this that you want something to climb, because it really is so undemanding. I don't do anything special for this plant. It just hangs out here, except every once in a while I have to add command hooks to help it continue to climb. It's a surprisingly hardy plant though. You could also style this way differently than I have styled. This is just how I'm growing mine. But yeah, really cool plant that I don't see people talk about a lot. Okay, next up we have a Hoya. Now I do feel like all Hoyas are pretty whimsical because they are flowering plants, and some of the flowers are really spectacular. But this one I'm featuring because of the foliage. It has this stunning silver foliage, which I just think is so magical. Something about the veining of the leaves too, like some of them can look really puffy. They are very thin. Like this is like a paper thin Hoya, honestly, so it is quite thirsty. You have to be aware of that, but you just cannot beat this silver foliage. Like this has to be one of the best Hoya when it comes to silver foliage, and these can get a lot bigger than mine. Like I haven't really reached those big mature leaf sizes yet. Hopefully soon. I'm just so bad at keeping up with watering this. I actually have to water it right now, so I'll do that in a second. But this one has been growing a ton. I did struggle with this at first, but I feel like I have cracked the code for the kind of situation that it likes. It likes bright indirect light. Do not give it too much light, it won't be happy with that, but it also can't be too little light. So I've really had to play around with finding the conditions that it liked. So it's set up with a grow light pulled a couple feet back from it, and it also gets ambient light from the window. It's a few feet from the window also. It was worth figuring out what it really wanted though, because like just look how gorgeous it is. Oh my gosh, I love this one so much. I'm gonna need to figure out what I'm doing trellis wise because it does keep growing. I'm probably gonna end up letting this be and then looping it around. Look at all of the new leaves coming in on her. Like how stunning is that? I really love this one. Yeah, there's just something so dainty about it. Okay, now for the fluttery vibes that I was talking about. This could legit be in a fairy garden. Like, it doesn't get more whimsical than this, folks. This is Oxalis triangularis. This is actually also quite new to my collection, one of my newest plants, in fact. And you'll have to forgive her because some of her flowers are on their way out, so they look a little bit droopy. But I'm glad that there are still flowers on this plant so that you can see just how much the flowers add to this. But even without flowers, the leaves are so delicate and fluttery looking. Like, ugh, just look at this plant, like the way that it moves. It is so cool. This is also called the shamrock plant. This is the purple version. There is also a green version, but I just wanted to add something a little bit different to my collection. And I also love really dark foliage, and this has to be one of the darkest plants in my collection, which I wouldn't normally peg as being whimsical, but just the whole overall vibe of this one trumps the dark leaf color, if that makes any sense. This one loves bright light, so I have it near a south window, and I'm also trying to stay fairly on top of the watering. I haven't repotted this yet, so it's still in the nursery pot that came from the plant shop. $5.99, folks. You too can have this stunning plant. Yeah, to be honest, I'm still kind of getting to know this one, but so far it has been easy going for me. and it really just adds so much to my home and to my plant collection, so I already just have to recommend it. Where I am, I really only see these stocked in the spring, so if you are wanting one, go to your nursery or plant shop as soon as possible while it's still spring to see if you can get your hands on one. I'm really trying to not add a lot of plants into my collection this year, so it takes a lot for me to decide to get a new one, but that was one that I just knew I needed. Okay, next I have a really unique one. Mine is looking a little crazy right now because I had it faced away from the window and then I turned it back to the window, so it's kind of just figuring itself out right now. You can see the stem is like curved. But anyways, this is my Sinningia leucotricha. I've had this for several years now, and this is one of my top all-time favorite plants. I will always have this in my collection because it is so easygoing and it is so fun to watch grow back every year. This is a caudex plant that goes dormant in the fall and winter, and then it comes back in the spring. So mine's obviously coming back right now, but it is just such a fun thing to witness every year. And this is the fuzziest and softest plant that I have ever felt before. Like, it is really on another level. It feels like a dog's ear. Like, that's the best thing that I can compare it to as a dog person. There's really just nothing like it. Like, it's like furry. It's so interesting, and then it puts out these really bright, cool flowers in the spring as well. Now, these don't last a super long time, so I'm really appreciating them while they're here, but just such an amazing, otherworldly plant. I cannot recommend this one enough. It's also very easy care. I just have it potted in a cactus and succulent mix, so it's nice and well draining. I actually drilled a drainage hole in the bottom of this ceramic pot because I wanted to pot it directly into here. And I keep it in bright indirect light again. It has been on the windowsill. I think I'm gonna have to pull it back soon though because the sun's getting a little intense. So I'll probably end up moving it to one of my plant shelves, but just such an amazing plant, and this one always has my full attention in the spring. Okay, so next I have to talk about my Phalaenopsis orchid. Now, I used to be, I wouldn't say an orchid hater, but I used to just not be interested in orchids. Like, I've had hundreds of plants over the past 7 or 8 years, but it isn't until the last year or so that I have developed an interest in orchids, and I don't know why that is, because one of my favorite things are when my plants flower. So it's like, hello, this is like the ultimate flowering plant. Like, that's literally what orchids are known for. So I'm so happy that I have opened up my home and my mind to the idea of growing orchids. This is just a regular old Phalaenopsis orchid. I actually got this from IKEA for $20, and it did turn into a bit of a rescue situation because it was in this really compact, soggy kind of substrate, but I think that it's doing okay, fingers crossed. This is kind of just an example for any orchid. This is just the one I have in flower right now, so it's the one I wanted to show you. But I have found growing orchids over the past couple of years so incredibly rewarding. It is just the most glorious thing when they are in flower. They add such a pop of color to my home, and I love the vibe that they bring so much. I'm still figuring out, but they are allegedly very easy to care for. I think I've been over caring for mine, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna continue on this journey, and I invite you to consider orchids as well because they are just so cool and so beautiful. Having 2 pink begonias on this list might be a little much, but I truly could not make this video without including my begonia pink urchin. This is one of my favorite plants right now. I'm sure that is gonna end up on my favorites of the year because I am just so obsessed with how unique and vibrant and incredible this plant is. You can see that mine has little flowers. They're closed right now, but how sweet. The leaves are so spiky, if you can see that. Oh my gosh, like, look at that. This is such a cool hybrid. So this is a terrarium type begonia, so I keep this in a cloche. Let me go grab it to show you. So I keep mine in here to keep the humidity up. It's a very easy way to grow it, and it's just potted in sphagnum moss. I fertilize when I water so it gets some nutrients. This cloche is just from IKEA. It's very basic. You can also find cloches like this at Michael's. It's really a set and forget type plant. I have to water this very rarely because it stays so humid in here. I do want it to be getting enough light though, so it does live on this shelf under a grow light. Oh my gosh, and there's whimsical plants everywhere in here, you guys. I couldn't choose them all though. Many of you know of my obsession with Pinguicula, so of course I had to feature them on this list as well. First of all, the pots, the Pinguicula ceramics that you can buy are like top tier for the vibes as well. Like, how cute is this one with the star and the moon? I'm so obsessed with it. This is a self-watering pot, so you fill up this like moat with water and then the plant sucks it up. I have to fill mine because it is empty, as you can see. So the whole setup I love, but pings are really cool because they can turn some really fun colors. So this one is turning a little bit pink, but I have these ones that are even pinker. This is like my little pink ladies crew here. They color up in the sun. It's like a little suntan for them. So these were a little bit more green in the winter, and then once I boosted the light, they turn pink like this. Pings do like bright light, so I would do in a bright, preferably, mine is a south facing, so it's very bright, but in a bright window or under a grow light. And I do try to keep them from getting too dry, but mine are pretty crispy crunchy right now, so I'm gonna be watering all of mine this evening. But they are very easy care. I think that there's a misconception that since these are carnivorous plants and, you know, you see them in no drainage and stuff like that, that they're difficult to care for, but these are truly some of the easiest plants in my collection. They catch fungus gnats. Like, what more could you want? Once you get them set up, you're good to go. So if you just do a little bit of research on what substrate you want to use and you get them going, then they're pretty self-sufficient. They do also flower, so bonus points for that. And I just wanted to show you my purple one for an example of a different color. This is Cyclosecta. So gorgeous. I just love these guys so much. I do have a video talking about how I care for mine, so I can link that in the description if you want to watch it. And if you really want to get into it, you can put together a pingdom like this, where you can have pings growing right on a pumice stone, and it's like their own little boggy ecosystem in here. Oh, they also propagate really easily. See, these two have split, so now one has turned into two. And we have a couple flowers on here as well, as you can see. The options and the creativity for styling these is really endless. I also have a video where I put this together, so I can link that as well. I'm always just trying to convince people to grow pings. Now, I wanted to include a nice dainty leafed Hoya, and I was having a really hard time choosing which one, but I think I've settled on this one because I love the variegation and I love how dainty the leaves are. They are just so pretty, but other Hoyas that I also think give super whimsical vibes are Hoya Bella, especially the variegated version. My favorite is the inner variegated. There's also Hoya Mini Pixie, which has really dainty leaves and even daintier flowers. They're so cute. I used to have one and unfortunately it got mealy bugs, but I do miss that plant because it was so cute. Also on this one, the sun stressing on the new growth. Do you see how it's kind of pink? A lot of Hoya do that. Hoya Hushkuliana variegated would be another great option as well. Like, look at those leaves. They're so pink. Hopefully it'll be showing up on camera. Yeah, how gorgeous are those? Like, so cute. There's tons of different Hoya lacunosas. I just really like this variegated version. They flower fairly easily as well, and they're not too fussy. I do have mine growing in my greenhouse cabinet, but I don't think it needs to be in there. I just kind of like the look of having it in there. Very, very easygoing. I actually find most small leafed Hoya to be easygoing. Definitely more easygoing than a lot of the larger leafed ones. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way, but I always feel like the small leafed ones are just really, really easy. I also love this pot that I have it in. I could also make like a companion video to this one where I talk more about styling, like pots and ways to display plants that I think is whimsical. That could be fun. But yeah, let's move on to the last plant. Also, before we move on to the last plant, I would love for you guys to comment down below and let me know what you think is the most whimsical houseplant, or is there a whimsical houseplant that we all need to be adding to our wish lists? I would love to hear your thoughts and your recommendations on that. Next, we have my Variegated Maranta. This is also called Maranta Beauty Kim. Now, I would put any Maranta in this spot. Like, I feel like Marantas are just... How many times am I going to say whimsical in this video? I don't know, but they really are. However, this is the only one that I have in my collection right now, and I do think that the variegation adds something really special to this one. It also has some flowers on it currently, and they do have just the most dainty, it won't even focus because it's so small. Focus. Okay, it doesn't really want to focus, but just trust and believe that these are cute little flowers. Also, Marantas move, like they close up at night. They are getting their beauty rest, and honestly, that is very relatable. Mine is grown under a pretty intense grow light, so it has some really striking colors. I find that these look quite different depending on what light you're growing under. This was one of my, oop, I don't want to snap something. This was my favorite leaf, but I have been getting some really gorgeous ones since that one came out. Like, look at this one. It's almost half moon. Yeah, it is just looking so good. And I recently gave this a pretty aggressive prune, but it's been really happy since then. This also is in self-watering. Just take it out quickly to show you. This is in pond because these are thirsty and you want to keep up with the watering. So I find having a semi-hydro setup just easier to manage. But yeah, stunning plant. Like, look at how cool that is. I just love her so much. This is kind of a random side note, but one of the reasons that I thought of doing this video is because I was thinking about how much I regret getting rid of my variegated string of hearts, because that is just such a magical, like, fairy-esque plant. And I don't know what I was thinking when I got rid of mine. Usually I don't regret getting rid of plants, and I still don't really regret because I just needed to downsize and I can find it easily and bring it back into my collection. But that one would definitely be on this list if I still had it. I mean, it should be on this list even though I don't have it. So yeah, I will definitely bring that back into my collection eventually. I love it so much, and I feel like string of hearts really fell off in popularity. Like, they were such an it plant 6 or 7 years ago, and now I never see people talk about them, but I do love them so much. So just throwing that in here as well. So that is it. That is all of the plants on this list. Like I said, I would love to hear what plant you would add to this list. Leave me a comment down below, and a huge thank you to Helix for sponsoring this video. I will have them linked down below as well. You can take advantage of their Memorial Day sale and get 27% off site-wide. Other than that, I hope that y'all have been keeping well, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!